Good evening, my name is Ernest Min and this is Joy News Prime. In our headlines tonight, 10 million cedis worth of electrical cables plus an additional $4.8 million worth of LPG disappear at the Tema Oil Refinery.
Whoever is involved, we handed over to the appropriate institutions to handle and investigate, and then if there is a need for execution, it will be done.
We have details as several thousands of liters of gas oil also vanished without a trace, with several staff now interdicted. Also tonight, impeachment processes could be initiated against the new mayor of Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly if he fails to clear the Assembly's 50 million cedi debt.
I think the father of the land has gotten to accept our message, and we'll give him some respite for some time to see as to how best he will respond to that. If he doesn't, certainly we are the Assembly members, we know the way out.
Opposition NDC launches scathing attack on a 3-member committee which investigated the Ijura disturbances, accusing them of helping government to conceal the truth in what they describe as a state-sponsored killing of ordinary citizens.
We in the NDC are appalled by the very labored, albeit unsuccessful attempt by the committee to shield the perpetrators of that heinous crime from liability and punishment.
Tonight, the party describes the findings as false and the recommendations insufficient. Later in business, a meeting to resolve the impasse between Ghanaian and Nigerian traders was inconclusive, the latest as Nigerian traders failed to provide documents requested.
Meeting had to be adjourned for another 1 week in the hope that by the time we meet again, the response from the consultation between the Nigerian traders and their government would have been resolved, and then we can move ahead from there.
Joy News Prime is coming to you live from our studios here at Fanofa, Kokomemle, Accra. We are live on DSTV channel 421, GoTV 144. This is your home of independent, fearless, credible, and impactful journalism. Stay tuned in.
Hello, my name is Evans Mensah, and you can relive all the fun and excitement on Top Story, Newsnight, and of course, Ghana Connect via podcast. All you need to do is to log on to myjoyonline/podcast. Search for your favorite show and relive the moment. Joy 99.7 FM, your radio for discerning listeners.
Joy 99.7.
Hello again, many thanks for joining us. Now, suspected thieves disguised as construction workers have stolen crash barriers valued at $3,500 at the newly commissioned Pokwase interchange. Resident engineer Kwabena Buampong revealed the criminals have also started tampering with the street lights at the interchange in order to steal them. Maxwell Aluba has more in the following report.
Pokwase interchange was commissioned by President Akufo-Addo sometime in July this year. Well, many of the residents here were excited when it was commissioned because it reduced the travel time and reduced the traffic congestion usually in this part of town. A resident who've been speaking to witnessed how the unscrupulous persons stole the crash barriers.
We encountered some people, about 5 people with a truck, and they were working on it. We thought they were working on it. It was at dawn, around 5:30. When we were coming from the church. Yeah. So when we met them, we didn't ask them anything because we thought they were part of the contractors that are working or engineers that are working on the road. So we passed by, but as soon as we got to the entrance of our gate, we saw them moving the car, that means leaving. But we realized that they have removed the thing from that end, where the last metallic pillar is, to the last end there, where they have, fixed the new ones. So they moved. We were here 3 days later. I saw some of the workers in the afternoon walking around and looking at what has taken place. So I confronted them and asked them, I have kids here who used to, play around, and I have asked you people to do this for us. And now that you have helped us with it, you have come back to remove it. And the guy told me they were not the people who came to remove it, but it was rather strange people who came in to steal. And I was surprised, because the way they did the thing, you will not suspect them of stealing. And they did it professionally, because their dressing and the way they were walking will not make you suspect anything.
Yeah, we heard they were wearing reflectors.
Yeah, they were wearing reflectors. Reflectors, and some of them were wearing overall, like workers.
Resident engineer of the Pokwase interchange, engineer Kwabena Buampon, says the crash barriers that were stolen are valued at a total cost of $3,500. He says they've already picked up signals that some unscrupulous persons want to steal some street lights on the interchange too.
We observed that about 10 sections of our crash barrier had been stolen or removed by unauthorized or unknown persons. And this is about 40 meter length. And we then proceeded to report to the police, after some time. And you asked about the costs. Presently, it's about $3,500 US. There is an operation or modus operandi of those who steal these street lights. And what they do is that they start by tampering with their connections, and that virtually plunges the whole system, or the whole road into darkness. And then sometimes they come under the cover of darkness to remove the luminaires, or you can see them in broad daylight removing these, luminaires. And we had seen some signs which presupposes that there are plans to do that, and that is why, we have come public. But
So you've seen signs that some people want to steal the street lights?
Exactly so. Because we've seen, the covers opened, and in some cases the switches have been turned off. And this, has alerted us to the operations of the syndicate who have done similar things on other roads. The Gifford Road, they have been to the that is the N1 on the N1 itself, which is part of the motorway from Tema to Accra. So once we say this, we want to caution the public to be on the lookout. Yeah.
We understand sometimes they even wear reflectors, so you think they are workers.
Yeah, exactly so. You see them in reflectors, and even for the street light, they come with let me explain. You see them in that conveyor that takes them up, okay, and they will removing the street lights. Yes, so you might think that they work for the contractor, but these people sometimes do not work for the contractor.
Finally, what do you think can be done about this situation?
Well, I think that I have said elsewhere that policing is a shared responsibility. If any of us see people who look suspicious, there's a need for us to ask questions. I think that where we always think that, these people, or we assume that these people are working for the contractor or for the road ministry, I think that we should begin to question people. If they have ID cards, we want to see them. If we want to take pictures, and look, I have done that. Okay, I have done that on projects where I see somebody, I ask you, where are you coming from? He says, this man says I should do. That's okay.
Now, there are shocking revelations tonight from the Tema Oil Refinery. It has emerged that electrical cables from the refinery storehouse worth more than 10 million cedis have disappeared. That's not all. Just a month ago, 105,000 liters of gas oil belonging to a BDC client also went missing. An interim management committee set up to probe the corruption has been laying out its findings. The statement issued Tuesday reads, It says in order to eradicate or reduce product losses at TOR to the barest minimum to enable TOR realize its vast potential, the Interim Management Committee, as part of its mandate, commenced investigations into product storage and transfer losses. Below are some of the incidents of product storage and transfer losses that have so far been discovered in the process. A, the disappearance of 105,927 liters of gas oil on 4th September 2021, which belongs to a BDC client. B, the wrongful loading of 252,000 liters of aviation turbine kerosene instead of regular kerosene into BRV trucks are the loading gantry between 21st and the 25th of September 2021. The disappearance of 18 drums of electrical cables worth 10.4 million Ghana cedis from the technical storehouse of TOR discovered in April 2021. D, the disappearance of LPG belonging to a client between 2012 and 2015, as a result of which TOR became indebted to the client to the tune of $4.8 million, as confirmed by Ernst & Young audit. E, loss of naphtha to a BDC. Now, the point 3, the third paragraph says that consequently, a number of staff members who hold various positions of responsibility with respect to the transfer of product have been queried and interdicted pending the outcome of investigations. It continues by saying that while the investigations are ongoing, we urge all staff to remain calm and be rest assured that the investigations are being conducted in accordance with due process of law. Anyone cleared in the process will be recalled from interdiction, while any form of liability will be dealt with in accordance with law. Evans Mensah has been speaking to the Chief Executive Officer of the Chamber of Bulk Oil Distribution, Senor Osi, on this development. Listen.
When you pump fuel out of the bus depot in the Accra Plains to Akosombo, you'll not get the full fuel there. But when you pump water, it will get there perfectly. And the same thing, you always have product losses. At TOR, we have them at bus, but you don't have any such thing in the private depots. The private depots always will give you actually product gains. And these two institutions continue to be subsidized by the taxpayer, yet still they all charge commercial rates for their activities. TOR has the largest infrastructure. They are more than well positioned to really be a market driver as far as storage facilities and industry support is concerned. There's no reason why TOR should be in this current situation. Look at what's happened. How can we just pump fuel from TOR to another BDC and you have over 100,000 unaccounted for? And TOR itself is not in the fore of that knowledge. Where's the accountability? But the private sector entity, the one who's able to identify your gap. So it means that anybody who wants to play around TOR has a very open door policy to really play around TOR and the systems in there. You know, there's a need for us to have an honest conversation about the future of TOR. We are pumping billions of dollars into an entity which is TOR, through the TOR debt recovery levy, almost enough to actually even build a whole new refinery. And we as a country have not really got the right return for all that investment. There is a need for us to have an honest conversation about TOR. The workers at TOR leave TOR, work at BDCs. We don't have these problems. But there's a problem at TOR, and we must be honest about it and fix it.
Well, the Ministry of Energy has been reacting. Kwesi Obingfosu is the Public Relations Officer at the Ministry.
If you study the release that came from TOR, they are still in the process of investigating each and every one. You know, it was part of their mandate to undertake technical and human resource audits, as well as receiving and assessing viable partnership for TOR. So it was part of their mandate to do what has been put out there. So those who are still under investigation, it is our hope that we will come out with the best for each and every one involved. If I say that, what I mean is so that we wouldn't find anybody, we can get explanations that will be befitting enough to let everybody go, and then find our monies back and then put them at the right place. But if that should not happen, and then we should realize that some neck deep and actually condoned and connive with others to make these losses. Then, just as the minister stated, the mandate of the committee is to hand their findings over to the minister for onward submission to the presidency, because the minister is acting for and on behalf of the president. So it will go to the presidency. These are legal issues. It will go to the courts, and the courts will decide. It is not for the minister or the ministry to prefer sanctions now. So let the findings go on, and then let's conclude the findings, and then we will proceed when we get there.
So we are likely to see prosecutions.
Oh, but if you cannot misappropriate public funds or issues of such nature, and then be handled with any other way apart from the legal means. So whoever is involved, we handed over to the appropriate institutions to handle and investigate, and then if there is a need for prosecution, it will be done.
Let's do some politics now. The opposition National Democratic Congress has given its verdict on the Justice Kumsin Committee report on the Ejura disturbances. The party says the report is nothing short of injustice and an attempt to shield perpetrators in what they describe as state-sponsored killings. At a news conference at the party's headquarters, Communications Officer Sami Jemfi accused the three-member committee of concealing the truth and deliberately working to delink the late Ibrahim Mohammed Elias Kaka from the Fix the Country campaign.
We in the NDC are appalled by the very labored, albeit unsuccessful attempt by the committee to shield the perpetrators of that heinous crime from liability and punishment. That finding flies in the face of the facts and cannot be accepted by the Ghanaian people, who expected nothing short of the truth from any impartial inquiry, wet its salt into the sad events that unfolded in Ejura. We wish to make the point forcefully, ladies and gentlemen, that no credible or verified evidence of any feud in Kake's family was adduced by any of the witnesses who appeared before the committee to testify, because there is none. One therefore wonders how the committee came to this contrived conclusion. Our checks as a party revealed that Kaka was at peace with his brother Idi and lived in harmony with him. This was duly corroborated by his wife, Sahada Hudu, mother, and family relatives of Kaka, as well as the people who lived with him or with them in one community. The idea that Kaka was killed as a result of a family feud is therefore the invention of the Kumsin Committee, and as such cannot be allowed to stand.
The committee in that report, that is the Justice Committee report, found that the death of Kaka may be as a result of a family feud other than his social activism, but the NDC disagrees. Sami Jemfi has been punching holes into the evidence relied on by the committee to arrive at this conclusion.
Having jettisoned these indisputable facts and plausible testimonies by persons close to Kaka, the committee rather, for some strange reasons, chose to accept hook, line, and sinker the testimony of one Aminu Mohammed and Sadia Husseini, co-tenant of Kaka, who claims to have witnessed the immediate aftermath of Kaka's murder on 26 June 2021. This, the committee did without due cognizance of the fact that Sadia Husseini had earlier given a contrary testimony in her first statement to the police when the matter first broke, in which she had indicated that she saw two big sticks and two men bolting away from the compound after she stepped out. As a matter of fact, it was on the basis of the first account of Sadia Husseini that Ibrahim Isaka, aka Anyas, and Husseini Al-Hassan, all of whom are known bodyguards of the then Ejura MC Salisu Bamba, were arrested a day after Kake's murder. How Sadia Husseini changed her first testimony 2 days after, and ended up blaming Kake's own blood brother Idi for the murder, when she had earlier given a different account to the police. And why the police have concealed this critical fact, that is the first statement given by Sadia Hussein, and why same was not considered by the committee in assessing Sadia's credibility as a witness, are mind-boggling.
The NDC says the recommendations of the committee are insufficient. It wants, among other things, all 10 military officers involved in the disturbances dismissed and prosecuted. Sami Jemfi adds that all political actors involved should be removed from office.
Without any provocation or justification, the soldiers lowered their shooting angle, with some kneeling down to take aim and shoot at the retreating crowd. Given the fact that precious lives have been lost as a result of the deliberate and cruel actions of these soldiers who were led by Lieutenant Adusei, which to us amounts to reckless disregard for human life, we think that the committee should have recommended nothing short of the outright dismissal and criminal prosecution of all the 10 soldiers involved, to serve as a deterrent to others and assuage the pain of the affected families and the people of Idra. Ladies and gentlemen of the media, it is equally reprehensible and unacceptable that the committee did not recommend any sanctions for the political and top military actors who deployed these soldiers in the first place. This is because the committee's own finding, the deployment of the soldiers to Idra was premature and needless.
Meanwhile, the Member of Parliament for Idra Seche Dumase, Bawa Brahima Mohammed, says the constituency is surprised at the findings of the committee while questioning the credibility of some of the witnesses following what he says is a change in lifestyle for some of them.
Now, why use, live ammunition on innocent protesters? Police, ono buy na no mbeji na djuma free nsem. Obi a ohwe footage ni bia hu say soldier for na edi kai and sign the police for editor. But this is a civilian operation who should have been led by the police because they have been trained for that. But you ye ekoko ba say na ye deploy soldier for instructions, specific instructions any de ma. These are all questions that was saying can you me ehwem. And sir mame Sadia Hussein wati kaka no fie ho efie no eye kaka mame efie ena mame no etifie ho ohan dai ofie ho enuti incident this year she was the first to come out.
Sadia lives in the house of Kake's mother as a tenant. She claimed she woke Kake's wife up when the incident happened. If Kake's brother were indeed the one who hit him with a stick, she would have said so, and that's because she would know those involved. Today, she's left the house, and her life has changed. It appears she may have been influenced to change her testimony.
Munuya baba idi, asa oba baba idi, ona boni nuya no. Bibi obojide say, enye baba idi ene bo nuya no kai baba idi a kamame no ko beka no there and then. On train 2 days.
Now, the Minister for National Security, Kandapa, is calling on civil society organizations to hold government institutions, especially his ministry, to account for the actions. Speaking at a workshop with CSOs on the National Security Strategy document, he explained government can work effectively if CSOs play their role.
It is also recognized that these accountability institutions set up by the Constitution, set up by the laws, which we refer to as the horizontal accountability institutions, most of them basically lack what it takes to hold the government to account, and that is independence. If you want to hold the government to account, what you really need is independence. which is why my wife cannot audit me, because she hasn't got that independence. If she writes a bad report, it will reflect in the top money. So she, of course, will naturally advise herself. So this is also a challenge, even in the advanced countries. And what has been the solution? The solution has been to find either accountability institutions that will not have that problem of lack of pure independence. And in these countries, they rely on the media. But much more than that, they rely on civil society. Because civil society, by definition, are normally independent. Because civil society, by definition, normally have people who are really experts in the areas that they talk about. So, colleagues, that is how important civil society is going forward. If governance is going to be good, it will depend upon the extent to which civil society will play that role of holding governments to account.
The National Security Strategy document, which was launched by the President on the 7th of June 2021, was meant to ensure effectiveness of the security and intelligence sector by revamping current systems and structures. But security analyst Adam Bona, in an interview with Joy News, explained the policy document does not explicitly have a plan for gathering data of unregistered security arms. He believes if the ministry is furnished with the data of unregistered arms in the country, it will help the ministry in dealing with the issues of crime. The executive director of Star Ghana, Ibrahim Tanko Amidu, however, says the national strategy document provides an avenue for CSOs to hold government to account.
Over the years, civil society organizations have been involved in peace, security and development at various levels, at the community levels, at the district levels, etc. But these have been isolated instances. So CSO A is working in Bole, CSO B is working in maybe Alavanyo, There is no overarching framework that enables us to coordinate and collaborate. And so we see the strategy as a framework that promotes the collaboration, that promotes the working together, that enables us to avoid duplication. The third issue is the fact that there needs to be a way of holding government accountable. As the minister said, government is responsible for the delivery of public goods and services, for creating the environment to enable us enjoy our rights. But where is a document that says that this is what government would do, A, B, C, D, E, F, in order to promote that enabling environment? And we think that the national security strategy provides the tool that we can use to hold government accountable.
Away from security, after 8 years of providing quality education, Lancaster University Ghana has now relocated to its new campus at Tantra Hills. They cut salt for the new ultra-modern edifice today. There's more in the following report.
2013, the transnational academic group in partnership with Lancaster University brought world-class education to Ghana by setting up a Ghana Lancaster University campus, the first of its kind in sub-Sahara Africa. Speaking at the sword cutting ceremony, CEO and provost of the transnational academic group or Lancaster University Ghana, Professor Malcolm McClever, says the university was established to introduce world-class university standards to the African space.
The driving force behind the launch of Lancaster University Ghana was two things. It was TAG's belief that education is the key to individuals and communities realizing their potential. And it was also TAG's commitment to deliver the very best learning experience to the young people of West Africa. 8 years later, and Lancaster University Ghana has gone from strength to strength, and is now an established and respected feature on the tertiary landscape of West Africa.
After 8 years, the university has relocated to Tantra Hills, a suburb of Accra. A new campus comes with a fully furnished lecture rooms, a fully stocked library that serves the post-COVID virtual needs of students, and a state-of-the-art computer lab. Speaking at the event, Director General of the Ghana Tertiary Education Commission, Professor Mohammed Salifu, said the government is hopeful private-owned tertiary institutions in the country will be integral in the delivery of quality education. Adding to that, he says plans are far advanced to develop Ghana as a regional hub for higher education through STEM education.
We intend to promote the country as a regional hub for higher education. Over the last couple of decades, we find that Ghana has become a natural magnet, attraction for people from all over the sub-region. In fact, students have come to Ghana here for higher education from as far afield as Zimbabwe, in Southern Africa, East Africa. As for North and Central Africa, West and Central Africa, we've had several of them coming in here. And that was even before the government and the Tertiary Education Commission adopted a policy and a strategy to articulate a hub, a regional hub, and develop the country into a regional hub for higher education.
Responding to this, Rakesh Wahi said the university is focused on assisting the government to realize its aim within the post-secondary educational space. He is hopeful the new campus will greatly impact the socio-economic status of the municipality and will prove to be a force to reckon with in the sub-Saharan region.
Our move to Tantra Hill will have a significant impact on the future of this municipality. The multiplying impact of an educational establishment with young adults with purchasing power is significant. As this campus builds to a capacity of 3,000 students and 300 staff, the economic impact on this cluster will be significant on retail, public transportation, banking, sports, restaurants, entertainment, and other allied services. With 50 to 60% students coming from outside of Ghana, TAG will be a valuable export earner, not just from the revenue to TAG, but also for hostels, F&B, and other services that I just talked about. We hope that our partners and service providers recognize and consequently endeavor to develop the best quality standards at affordable prices for students and staff.
This is Johnny's Prime with me, Ernest Mino. Still to come, impeachment processes could be initiated against the new mayor of Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly if he fails to clear the Assembly's 50 million cedi debt.
The father of the land has gotten to accept our message, and we'll give him some respite for some time to see to as to how best he will respond to that. If he doesn't, certainly we are the Assembly members, we know the way out.
Hi, this is Lexus Bill, host of Drive Time on Joy 99.7 FM. Listen, you don't have to worry if you miss Drive Time or Personality Profile. It's going to be live on our podcast page. Just log on to www.myjoyonline.com/podcast. You can listen to Drive Time, Personality Profile, and any other of your favorite shows on Joy FM on that page. You don't have to miss a show at all. Joy 99.7 FM, radio for discerning listeners.
Now in business, a meeting to resolve the trade feud between the Ghana Union Traders Association and the Nigerian Union of Traders Association in Ghana was inconclusive. This because the Nigerian traders failed to provide documents of tenancy agreement and related business registrations. The meeting has now been postponed to the 13th of October this year. Here's Emma Davis with the latest.
Efforts by Ghana and Nigeria governments to resolve the trade impasse among traders from both countries have been futile. The fourth meeting of the Ghana-Nigeria Joint Implementation Task Force ended again unsettled. The Nigerian traders were expected to provide documents of tenancy agreements and related business registrations to verify their legitimacy, but joined the meeting without the documents. Here's Executive Secretary of the Ghana International Trade Commission, Frank Ajekum.
The meeting has to be adjourned for another 1 week in the hope that by the time we meet again, the response from the consultation between the Nigerian traders and their government would have been resolved, and then we can move ahead from there. So that's where we are at the moment. And in the interim, the meeting has asked the Ghana Traders Union Association to also hold off any actions until we have a response from the Nigerian government, and then we will know what to do from there.
President of GUTA, Dr. Joseph Obeng, has assured of his outfit's compliance to deliberations and hopes Nigerian Union of Traders Association, Ghana, does same. According to him, Nigerian traders have no choice but to live by the rules.
I wouldn't say that it was inconclusive, but at the end of it all, it has been agreed that next week should be a decisive week. And so I think our brothers have clearly understood that they have to comply and then move forward with this. From what they are saying, they are going to comply, and that's all that we are expecting, that they have to comply. It's the laws of the nation, and we make sure that it is done. Fortunately, we have also considered make some concessions by pleadings of government and all that. I hope they also have to respect same so that it will not bring any confusion to us again.
Minister for Economic Policy Guideline at the Nigerian Commission, Silvanus Dauda, is optimistic that Nigerian traders will provide the needed documents in the next meeting.
Well, there were some technical issues that we are going through, and I think also it needs some conviction on their part to other traders and retailers for the need for them to be in compliance, because there are laws of the land that must be complied with for them to participate in the retail space in the country. But I expect that the next meeting will see maximum, it may not be 100%, but we'll see some compliance, and the documents should be there for us to all peruse and make sure that they can be able to operate in this space given to them in the country.
Now, the Association of Ghana Industries is continuing with its push for Ghanaian manufacturing firms to be given special interest rates for those exporting under the Africa Continental Free Trade Agreement. According to AGI, Ghanaian businesses will be competing with other countries that have low interest rates, and such a move will go a long way to support them. Chairman of the Greater Accra region of AGI, Chonam Atpelu, spoke to Joy Business at the association's regional annual general meeting.
Despite the country's declaration of being ready for the African Continental Free Trade Agreement, Ghanaian businesses are still facing challenges of competition with products from other countries. According to the Association of Ghana Industries, the concerns include high cost of credit and lack of education on tariff structure and goods that are capable of trading under the agreement. Chairman of the Greater Accra branch of the AGI, Chonam Atpelu, believes a specialized rate for businesses will answer many of the financial challenges and help Ghanaian businesses to penetrate the market.
Realize that as of today, borrowing from the banks ranges from not less than 20% per annum. This is extremely high, given that we're going to have to compete with other countries like Ethiopia, which is borrowing at the rate of 6%, like South Africa, which is borrowing at the rate of 12%. What we're asking for, that we're asking our commercial banks to look at the peculiar situation of Ghana and reduce the interest rates that they lend to our members in order to facilitate expansion in growth of industries.
Vice President of the AGI in charge of small and medium enterprises, Humphrey Eyimdake, called on the Ministry of Trade and Industry to expedite the processes on publishing the tariff structure and rate of goods and services that have qualified to trade under the program. He believes this will help many businesses to plan towards benefiting from the agreement.
Looking out for the other partners in the AFTA program that are ready regarding the custom harmonization issues, the tariff list, and the other related ones that are still under negotiation. So we're saying that they are work in process, and the speed matters, given that other countries have some advantages over us. and they are ready. When we did a barometer report, you could see the Moroccans are ready. South Africa, to some extent, are ready. And Ghana puts itself in the right place to be ready.
Members of the AGI are, however, upbeat about the prospects of the deal in the coming months.
And that's it for business. Up next is sports.
Hello, I'm Dori Nando. You can catch up with all the fun on the Cosmopolitan Mix and on all our shows via podcast. Just go to My Joy Online podcast and search for your favorite show and relive those moments all over again. Only on Joy 99.7 FM, radio for discerning listeners.
Super Hits Radio, Joy 99.7.
Many thanks for staying with us in time to bring you sport. I'm Hans Mensah. The Black Stars have begun campaign in Cape Coast. That's ahead of the 2022 World Cup qualifier against Zimbabwe on the 9th of October. 27 players, including skipper Andrea, who took part in the team's first training session earlier today. There is more in this Joy Sports report.
The four-time African champions trained at the Cape Coast Stadium on Tuesday without 5 players who have been excused from the squad ahead of the Zimbabwe doubleheader. They are Kotokos Ismail Abdul Ganiyu, Tariq Fosu, Alfred Duncan, Mubarak Okasu, and Emmanuel Jesse of Spexia. Meanwhile, England-based right back Andy Adam, who plays for Reading FC, is currently being assessed after picking a knock on Saturday night during a championship game against Cardiff and got replaced in the 89th minute of the game. 27 players trained on Tuesday as Milovan Rajevic took charge of his first training session since his return. The Serbian coach and his men are seeking to get back to winning ways after the 1-0 loss to South Africa in the second Group G game. The Black Stars, who began the World Cup qualifying campaign with a 1-0 win over Ethiopia on match day 1, are second in Group G with 3 points after 2 rounds of matches. Ghana is scheduled to play the Warriors of Zimbabwe in a double-header with the first leg set for Cape Coast Stadium on Saturday, October 9.
Our former Vice President of the GFA and current Chairman of the Black Stars Management Committee, Fred Papo, says Ghanaian players born outside the country do not want to play for the Black Stars because of commentary on social media.
If you have the situation where people go on social media, people are at liberty to express their views on social media and consistently advise the players not to come and play for Ghana. All these things are bound to have effects on them. I'm sure, don't look surprised. I'm sure you've seen a lot of those comments on social media all over the place. We read all those things, we see all those things. And I'm sure the boys also read all those things, So definitely, if the team is not doing well over a period of time, in the 2006 era, 2010, most of the boys who category were more than willing to come and play for the Black Stars. We had Hansedu Sape, Francis Diko, Otuado, Joe Techimensin, and the rest. There was this very swift winger who eventually, we had a very solid tug of war with Germany. Eventually went to play for the Germans. Odonko. I remember they were at one friendly match. He was even in our camp in Germany to visit the team and the rest. So the team was attractive because they were playing well. Naturally, if after a spell of time where the team has been things have been a bit turbulent, it doesn't make the team attractive. But sometimes to some of the commentaries we hear, or some of the commentaries that these boys are exposed to, will naturally not make the team an attractive place to come in. But there are still some who are ready and positive and are willing to come. Let's say kudos to players like Alex Jiku, players like Chere from Darmstadt and the rest, Manaf and a few other players who are, and quite a number who are still, the FA is still working hard to get them to come on board. But at the end of the day, we must all remember that the team is our team. If it's attractive like you did indicate in 2000, the golden years, we're all happy, So whatever we can do in our small way to make the team a very attractive place, I believe we all have the responsibility to do that.
And that'll be all for this installment. There'll be more sports later in the bulletin.
Hello, my name is Nathaniel Atto. You can catch up with all the fun and inspiration on the Joy Sports link here on Joy 99.7 FM, together with all other shows over and over again. It's very simple. All you need to do is go to myjoyonline.com/podcast and relive all of those fun moments over and over again. Joy 99.7 FM, your radio for discerning listeners.
Joy 99.7.
And my brother KMJ is here with the latest in the world of showbiz. How are you doing, bro?
As always, I'm good. Good to see you.
Yeah, good to have you here. What's happening?
Great stuff. So we have a lot happening in entertainment. Yesterday, we spoke about Nake, who is a member of the different Nkasai group. And he's spoken about why he left Ghana after 5 years of his music career to go and seek for greener pastures. We're also going to be going to
Is it always green there?
Not always. Not always, but at least we know it's greener. Kind of scary situation, Jonas.
Okay, glass and choir.
So we're going to the UK. The Ghana Music Awards UK will be happening this weekend, and we have our crew out there, IB and our very own Doreen Avio, who's also going to be a co-host. They're all in the UK. So
let's start with you know, the Nkasai stuff.
Okay, so I mean, you know, he's been talking about it ever since he came back. Actually, he's been talking about the industry, how he sees it now, and how it used to be, and the fact that, I mean, it took a time for him to sit down and say to himself that he needs something better for himself. So at 5 years after he's doing this, he needed to take a trip and go seek for greener pastures. And he's explained why he had to do that. So let's take the video of that.
I saw people, I wouldn't be able to mention their names because I don't have their permission, who I admired, who I looked up to, and where their lives were, I didn't like it. You know, so I thought, no, this is not the future I want. I need to build something else for myself and my family. So even before Tiabodom, I remember sitting in this same place with Bolari and telling him, look, after 5 years, I'm gone. You know, he asked us for 5 years plan, and I told him. So that was where that was from. I didn't like the future I was seeing with our entertainers, so I left.
Okay, so it appears he knew what he wanted.
Yeah.
He predicted the future.
I mean, with the industry that we have, if you're someone who has seen it all from both angles, I mean, the generation that has seen what has happened to the veterans and what is happening now, you would be advising yourself because we're still fighting royalties, structures.
Yeah.
And so if you're somebody who looks at all of these things, you'll be planning in the next 10 years, 5 years, 15 years, what am I going to do to myself? And that's what.
All right, take me to the UK now.
Doreen Avio is a co-host for the event on Saturday. IB is also there to report for us as well. Now, this weekend will be a very special weekend because the Ghana Music Awards UK will be coming off, and many celebrities have all gone. We have Human Mercy, Mesbel, Medical. I mean, episode, all of the guys who are performing, those who are performing, those who are also going there to enjoy the whole event. So Doreen Avio is live from the UK right now. Doreen, how are you doing?
Doreen.
Hey.
Good to see you.
Doing?
Yeah, we are fine.
Hey.
It's the accent for me.
You know, and it's the beauty, the extra beauty for me. Hey.
Oh my goodness, you guys are so cool.
Great. How's it going over there? We hear a lot of you are all, you know, touching down, the musicians, the celebrities, the radio presenters and TV presenters. How's it going?
So far, so good. Everyone is here. I would say majority of people are here. As you mentioned, the musicians, Miss Bell of Human Mercy, Dope Nation, Medical, Fela. I mean, the list is just endless, but they're all here and we are all set. As I talk to you now, they've started setup because, you know, the event is on Saturday. They want to make sure that everything is properly done before we all go there on Saturday. So day in, day out, they keep holding like production meetings to ensure that whatever anybody is planning to do that day, it would go on successfully. So far, so good. And we are having a good time here.
You are hosting. What are you bringing to the table this year? A whole new vibe.
Whoa, for me, it's really exciting because, you know, my first time was Ghana Party in the Park. And to do this again, it looks like they're loving me.
The UK chick.
They love me, and for me,
Doreen, you must tell us, you must show us the way. What is happening in the UK?
It's all grace. It's all good. Trust me.
John, where do you have one in
Multimedia has done so much for all of us, and I believe that with multimedia, we're all going places. So whatever we're all doing on the various platforms, let's just keep doing it and doing it right. Trust me, with time, I know next year KMJ will come and host. Next year IB will host. You know, the list will just go on and on.
Oh, I'm just so sad you didn't mention my name, but it's fine.
Speaking of IB, where is IB close to you?
IB is actually close to me.
Okay.
IB is seated right here.
Let's look at him. He's also changing in color and accent as well.
Yeah. So I don't know if he has an accent. Do you have an accent too?
What's up, my brother? Isn't it?
KMJ, how are you?
All
right, guys, have fun.
Don't worry, you'll be coming here, okay?
Absolutely, but we gotta go. Thanks to you guys for joining us over here. We're definitely going to be doing this, more often. All right, so see you guys soon.
And Doreen will keep us posted with, the awards there.
Yeah, they're going to be in touch.
And we're definitely proud of Doreen and all the, guys there, especially from multimedia.
Yeah,
we're doing
amazing
business.
stuff.
So
we're going places.
Joy Entertainment will keep you posted.
Absolutely.
On the awards. Thank you very much, KMJ, for bringing us the
all the time, man.
And we have more stories for you, but that's it for Showbiz.
What's up, guys? My name is Sammy Forson, host of the Weekend City Show and Ignition right here on Joy 99.7 FM. Well, anytime you happen to be busy and you miss out on your favorite shows right here on Joy FM, here's what you can do. Log on to myjoyonline.com/podcast. Just go on there and you'll find all your shows on demand 24/7. There you can catch up. Remember, Joy FM remains your radio for discerning listeners.
With today being Tuesday, women and girls are not allowed to cross the River Ofin, which runs through the Central and Ashanti regions. This because the taboo bans them from doing so. Also, girls cannot cross the river when they are menstruating. This old discriminatory tradition is hampering girl-child education and limiting social economic activities of females. Jojo Kobna reports that the women along the river do not want to fight this tradition, but want government to build a bridge across the river.
River Ofin in both Central and Ashanti regions is very sacred. There is an unwritten rule in all communities along the river, and women should not cross it on Tuesdays. In the community of Dencha Chechere, this rule is enforced to the letter. Also, when women or girls are menstruating, they are forbidden from crossing. It is believed that the curse will befall the community when women break this taboo.
The river is having a god of man, so that thing is born on Tuesday. For this reason, it is the Tuesdays when the spirits revoke in the river. Maybe some menstrual cycle and those things that we cannot mention of. So as if we've mentioned those things or we detail that things to the river is unclean. So our people or our elderly men saw that all those things attached to women are unclean for that day, Tuesday, because that Tuesday, the gods or the ancestors of the river may having some pacification or something like that. So it's taboo for a woman to attend to the riverside on Tuesdays.
I didn't feel 14 years. I go school St. John Methodist Basic School. I village, Pakapa village. My base school at Tichere, and so as I'm a band, just a cross the river and son of my back. Oh, boo and son, so I want to make cross the river if you say it's a woo, then soon. So, to friend Teresa Glover, I didn't feel 13 years. And I do Tuesdays and so a young man into me school boys and a year or more to me back.
Dorcas and Theresa and many other girls have to cross a river to get an education.
So we are currently crossing the Ofin River, and the gods of this river are against girls like Theresa and then Dorcas from menstruating and crossing it. They're against that. They're also against them from crossing on sacred days such as Tuesdays. One very interesting thing is the gods are not against people who are mining in this river. It's quite interesting.
It's a journey where they have to cut through thick cocoa plantations for 1 hour. But on Tuesdays and on days that they menstruate, they cannot do that. It is an ancient taboo that is enforced even today. Women and girls are questioning the relevance of this taboo what is affecting their education.
It is not fair. It is not fair because every day the boys go to school and studies, but we the girls, we can't study all the days.
A peep through the school register shows the full story. Many girls who live across the river are absent from school. Young girls are now questioning this blatant discriminatory practice.
The boys no more go school, na boys no more, and younger more women saying, so much me go school.
According to the girls, the boys do better in school because of this archaic belief.
5 days or 4 days. Want me go school, ebi aboko school, ebi aboko school kra na omo suande gu achi ne mo suan na wuni bia ye de ba exams kra na no want me anye enti e problem e da ye ni girls are yet back up hospital.
To give girls the best education, some parents have rented rooms in Chichere so the girls would return to them on weekends and when they are not menstruating.
Me bad doctors say why a kakra say as I say on to me go school a blood antina me so on god eklom say so boys for mu say wo anka a cry dia and I say eklom dia anka matumi ahwe no so yie.
Ama Mansa recounts going into labor on a Tuesday. According to her, crossing the river was not possible because of the taboo. The chief of her community, who has a responsibility to appease to the gods of the river with a goat and gin before she could cross, was not around. So she had to walk for over 2 hours westwards before accessing a health facility to deliver.
I want to come a brand how much 30th March and I come here. I did anapano. Na mbra come here na megina na mi like na eya de eya me ya but say atomic kakra na te say ntumi na ante kakra kakra saa be pima am kodu nsu na me bon ba say nyamenya de onya me kakra kakra ntumi ntwa me kodu krom kwan de na say ba de mpo a ende na hu say doctor for ye de mu gina me so na ha de omo so omo ntumi ma ti die wa na be ne kakra kakra de akonti na me bon pa esungu nyame so say ommoa me am ti me chance you na me kodu krom a doctor for so ati me ayo.
Ama could easily have died because of this taboo or lost her baby. She does not want to challenge the river god and the old age culture. She simply wants the government to build a bridge over the river so they can cross at will. Margaret Kokoi's son drowned in the river of Fen. Her son was on his way to school when a canoe accidentally capsized and he died. Anytime she crosses the river, she recollects this painful memory. She wants the government to build a bridge over the river so that no child would cross the river to school.
Onunka yesi jwada bia mu de duane mla na saa da no saa kwada no wan fama na mimi ba no de mu de duane ko iti papa no bufui na o se so mo afa duane na ma de o mo ankasa mfa ehye no iti o mu di hye no ko no na akwada no antimi bio afi na papa no ko ji ya hye no ko butu wo oduru ha no wa kai se mi ba no wo ka ba distanka bebi o kanya ebia o pepe so bia obetimi abehwe me na sisi aso yinti wa free mu prefu bretama onyini.
Until then, this discriminatory practice would continue to hinder the development of girls and women. Jojo Kobna, Joy News.
Presiding member of the Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly, Stephen Ofori, says drastic action will be taken against the new city mayor if he doesn't take the necessary action to get government to clear the assembly's 50 million cedi debt. The government reached an agreement with the leadership of the Assembly to pave way for the endorsement of Sampine as Chief Executive. And now Jima monitored the endorsement of the nominee and filed this report.
58 out of 60 Assembly members were present to vote. Sampine garnered 55 of the votes. Mr. Pine, in his acceptance speech, indicated readiness to partner all stakeholders for effective management of the city.
But with determination, hard work, and assistance of all the stakeholders, I'm optimistic of telling a success story at the end of my tenure. I pledge to work hard to actualize the vision of the President and for that's something that I'm not saying to the second. And my personal vision of making Kumasi a sustainable garden city once again. Honorable Presiding Member, I have a firm belief that hard work, cooperation, and sincere consultation by all will be the master card to achieve this.
Ahead of his confirmation, members of the Assembly threatened rejection until the government defrayed a 50 million debt of the Assembly. The members say the indebtedness has significantly contributed to the underdevelopment of Kumasi. President Akufo-Addo, however, pleaded with the Assembly members to endorse the nominee as efforts are made to investigate the debt. Presiding member for KMA, Stephen Ofori, says Assembly members agreed to endorse the nominee after an agreement on a plan for payment of the debt. He wants the government to honor its side of the bargain to ensure peaceful tenure for the mayor.
And when the president speaks, it holds that power. So, and in his attempt, he also sent the regional minister and the chief of staff to come to us to have a dialogue with us that we should hold on to that agitation. After the confirmation, we should have a roundtable discussion to iron all those issues. So now I think the father of the land has gotten to accept our message, and we'll give him some respite for some time to see to as to how best he will respond to that. If he doesn't, certainly we are the Assembly members, we know the way out.
What possibly could be the action?
Oh, let me keep that one for now. But when the time comes, you hear from me.
Is it going to be a vote of no confidence on them?
Oh, no, not really. That will depend on the nominees or the new mayor's approach. If he does his best and still the executive is not responding to it, you can push the blame to him. We know how to handle it.
For Joy News, Nanaya Ochima, Kumasi.
Former Member of Parliament for Nshaeso Kennedy Kankam has been confirmed as the Municipal Chief Executive for Asokore Mampong in the Ashanti region. He received an overwhelming affirmation with 100% of the votes cast. All 22 of the 24 Assembly members present for the voting exercise voted in favor of Mr. Kankam, but the new MCE barred anyone from jubilating. He barred any procession or celebration after his confirmation. Prince Apia has more.
Due to the dynamics of politics here at the Asokore Mampong municipality, when the name Kennedy Kankam was mentioned as MCE nominee, there were mixed reactions, with many saying he was an outsider. As a result, they needed somebody who was part of them to be nominated. Tuesday's exercise, though smooth right from the beginning to end, saw heavy presence of security at the new Assembly Complex office where the voting took place. Ironically, the new MCE barred any form of jubilation, procession or celebration after his confirmation. In his acceptance speech, he called for unity and advised his supporters to desist from embarking on any form of street celebrations.
I value every life at Asokore Mampong and beyond. In sincerity, I want to declare today that there is not going to be jubilation out there. and there's not going to be procession. No fanfare. Sometimes it can create problem. It can create problem. Until say me nem panyumfo mu ha na nanom hemfo sare ki zongufo ne eye security fo nyina di nkoma wie ansa na maye.
Kennedy Kankam says he will revive the defunct pencil factory in the municipality as a strategic measure to create jobs. He also plans to capitalize on the new Kumasi International Airport to rebrand the municipality.
Yet the airport no, any pencil factory no, baba be showcase Asokore Mampong. Said the idea Akotia Diamonds, showcase Asokotia no. Near the Obuasi Gold, showcase you Obuasi no. Dear no more no mude ayo money manina, your airport, your pencil factory. A Quambiaso, your very revival pencil factory no, I'm an airport number.
At the end of the exercise, these were the reactions of the assembly members.
At first, I was one of those people who vehemently opposed his nomination, but upon further consultation, we further came to the conclusion that we have to give him the chance to see what he also have to put on the table for the municipality.
The problem that the municipality is facing is revenue mobilization. And if we are able to brand airport, able to brand pencil factory, it will create a lot of revenue for the assembly so that we can develop so many projects in the municipality.
Assembly members, you can't bomb near the idea between you, so say. Now what we mean be a better letter area by letter area near acquire communal labor. Sadiana, you can't bomb when a ma assume Jeba, a BBI acquire. Yen and I can't bomb my BBI about Conti as Lena Messe, San Cabomunenti, as you know, Donna Yan, San Cabomunent.
My name is Prince Apia reporting from the new Assembly Complex here in Askorema Municipality.
The minority in Parliament have criticized the ongoing nationwide SIM registration by the Ministry of Communications and Digitalization, describing the use of the Ghana card as discriminatory and unlawful. Addressing the press conference Tuesday, ranking member on Parliament's Communications Committee, Sam Nete George, urged the ministry to withdraw threats to deactivate unregistered SIMs by March 2022. The minority is therefore calling for an immediate revision of the processes to make it easy and accessible to all Ghanaians. Pakwisi Shando's report read to you.
Friday, October 1st, 2021, the Ministry of Communications and Digitalization began a nationwide SIM registration to sanitize the digital ecosystem and minimize the rate of fraud-related activities involving the use of SIM cards. In this exercise, SIM card users across the country have to link it to their Ghana card. Now, the minority in Parliament, however, believes insisting on the Ghana card as the only national ID for the exercise is discriminatory. Addressing the media, ranking member on Parliament's Communications Committee, Sam Nate George, described it as an affront to LI 2111 and other relevant legislation governing SIM registration in Ghana.
We strongly oppose any abuse of policy to unnecessarily inconvenience the citizens of this country. We find it most inappropriate that the policy directive is issuing a fiat of deactivating SIM cards that are not linked to a Ghana card within the next 6 months. We find this most unacceptable. This, we believe, is a retrospective application of legislation and a tunnel vision approach to sanitizing the industry. And why we say this is a retrospective approach to legislation is, do not forget that Ghanaians registered, almost every Ghanaian today holds a card that was registered in 2011 or since 2011. And they were registered in accordance with law. So if you are now applying LI 2111 retrospectively to affect those people, we believe that that is not the dictate of the law in our country.
Member of Parliament for Sagnirigu constituency, Alhaji ABA Fuseni, also decried the process and urged the Communications Ministry to revise its decision. In his view, the use of the Ghana card will needlessly inconvenience a lot of Ghanaians, especially those in rural areas.
There are no offices of the National Identification Authority in districts, even these are districts. for them to be able to afford Ghanaians the opportunity to register. So these are districts. What about even the rural areas, which are the overwhelming majority of settlements in our country today? So you see clearly that the infrastructure in the districts and in the rural areas to register our people for this Ghana card is simply not there.
Member of Parliament for the Bumprungu constituency, Ahmed Bandim, also lamented that over the past few years, the National Identification Authority has been consistently insensitive to Ghanaians in the implementation of its policies.
The voter ID card is legitimate if it is legitimate enough to be used to elect a president and a member of parliament. Of course, it should be legitimate to be used for a registration of a SIM card in the country. I come from a rural constituency, in the Bumprungu constituency. We have villages, majority of whom don't have the NIA card. And now we are being told that they should be charged 200 Ghana cedis before they can obtain the card. We think it's outrageous. We think that the government has a motive. And NCA, I believe, should be concentrating on improving quality of service in the rural areas and even in the cities than interested in registering SIM cards.
The minority is therefore urging the Ministry of Communications and Digitalization to withdraw the threat of deactivation of valid SIM cards by March 2022. It also called for the scrapping of the physical visit to an agent of a service provider for authentication of registration documents.
So we offer the following 4 solutions to make the ongoing process more holistic and more effective in fighting SIM-based digital crime. 1, the immediate withdrawal of the threat of deactivation of valid SIM cards by March 2022 by the Minister for Communications and Digitalization. 2, the scrapping of the physical visit to an agent of a service provider for authentication of the registration document. And I'll come back to explain this particular point.
To make the process more convenient, the minority called for an integrated referencing of database of the Passport Office, DVLA, NIA, and SNIT by the National Identification Authority. Lastly, the minority argued that passports, driver's license, and voters' ID cards should be incorporated into the process to enhance mass participation by all Ghanaians. Parkwesi Shandov's report for Joe News.
To other stories now, in an effort to complement government's clampdown on illegal miners, the task force of the Ghana National Association of Small-Scale Miners has apprehended 13 persons for illegally mining in the eastern region. The suspects include Ghanaian and other West African nationals. They were caught mining in the Brim River at Achim Mampon near Enyinam, Accra village in Ketieso and Mochre, all in the Tiwa district. Now, Edwin Kofisian has more in the following report.
Task Force also destroyed and retrieved over 100 champagne machines, water pumping machines, and other mining equipment. The arrest follows a similar exercise conducted by the Lands and Natural Resources Ministry a few days ago at Brim North and Asante Achim South districts of the Eastern and Ashanti regions, respectively. The special ministerial operation led by Deputy Minister George Mrekuduka saw the arrest of 6 illegal miners and the destruction of several mining equipment. Patrick Don Chibi is the commander of the Small-Scale Miners Task Force.
There is a village called Accra Village. We started from there. 3 people were arrested, brought to Enyinam police station. And today we embark on the operation in Mampong and Nkate, and Mochre. There are places named, and these are the people we apprehended. So as we went, they were doing this illegal mining that we said they should stop. And they were washing into the Brim River direct. The task force commanders, we've started, we want to tell the general public that we are not going to stop. And we'll make sure that those doing these illegalities must put a stop to that.
The communication director of the association, Razak Alassan, says illegal miners will stop at nothing to destroy the rivers in the eastern region. According to him, the association will put in every effort to clamp down on them and identify their financiers.
Since in the morning, so far, over 60 Chamfan machines are destroyed, and we've apprehended over 10 people. So right now we are still screening to know the actual culprits, and we are looking for the sponsors themselves, those who are financing them, those who are sending them to this to this riverside. Because some of them, for instance, yesterday when we were even asking them, some of them were telling us that they have some bosses and they can't disclose their, they don't even know their bosses' names. Especially some Voltarian that we got him yesterday. He didn't even understand what he came to do. They brought him, and then even to identify his boss, he doesn't even know where the boss is. So we are looking for such people, and we had the information that some of the contingents and sub-chiefs and the Busanpenis, they are also involved.
The suspects will be put before the law courts in the coming days. Kofi Sian, reporting for Joy News.
You're watching Joy News Prime with me, Ernest Mini. We're taking a break. On Way 10, we'll bring you more business stories. Stay with us.
Hello, my name is Evans Mensah, and you can relive all the fun and excitement on Top Story, Newsnight, and of course, Ghana Connect via podcast. All you need to do is to log on to my Joy Online/podcast. Search for your favorite show and relive the moment. Joy 99.7 FM, your radio for discerning listeners.
Joy 99.7.
Many thanks for staying with us here on Joy News Prime. The Ghana Stock Exchange, which led the League of African Stock Exchanges as the best performing market in the first half of this year, is in dollar term was beaten to the first position by the Lusaka Stock Exchange in the first 9 months of this year. The impressive run by the Zimbabwean kwacha against the dollar was the key contributing factor to the Accra Bears being pushed to the second position. Charles Nixon Yeboah has been going through the League of African Stock Exchanges and brings us more in the following report.
In local currency terms, the Accra Bears was the best performing market on the African continent, but the 1.78% depreciation of the cedi to the dollar and the 27 percentage points gain in the Zambian currency to the dollar pushed the Ghana Stock Exchange to the second position. Whilst the GSE recorded about 44 percentage points gain in dollar term for investors at the end of September, the Lusaka Stock Exchange registered 58%. The 44% return for investors was, however, better than the one achieved in the first half of this year. Until July, the market was the number one on the African continent in performance in dollar term. Indeed, the cedi's relative stable performance have compelled many investors to invest in the equity market. According to the trading result, 15 stocks on both the main and SME market registered gains in their market value, while 6 stocks recorded losses. The best performing stock is Farm Milk and is followed by Societe Generale and MTN Ghana. However, the worst performing stock is Cocoa Processing Company, which is selling at 2 pesos per share. On the continent, the worst performing market is the Nigerian Stock Exchange with an annualized return of negative 7.60%.
Head of Data Bank Research, Alex Boahin, says there's no cause to worry. He projects the Ghana Stock Exchange to continue its exceptional performance in the last quarter of this year.
What we are seeing now, which is around 60%, is mainly driven by the appreciation of the Zambian kwacha. And as you may be aware, I mean, for the past couple of years, we have seen the Zambian kwacha actually come under severe pressure, and the currency is actually recovering from the losses that it made for the past couple of years. And I think there seems to be some renewed confidence in the economy also following a successful election. So that is actually driving the sentiment or the positive sentiment that we have seen around the kwacha, and also pushing up the USD return of Zambian stocks. But if you look at it fundamentally, appreciation by the companies that are listed on the Zambian Stock Exchange is, the index has done just about 23% or thereabouts, which is significantly below what we have seen from Ghana Stock Exchange.
Okay, so not necessarily the case that the Ghana Stock Exchange slacked?
No, it's mainly driven by the performance or the appreciation of the Zambian culture. So for domestic investors in Zambia, this 60% that we are talking about might not be necessarily beneficial for them. It will benefit foreign investors who are actually exchanging they are selling their stake and taking it in dollar to abroad. Yeah.
In more business news, Facebook is in court battling an antitrust case. The social media giant on Monday asked a judge to dismiss the U.S. government's revised antitrust case that seeks to force the social media giant to sell Instagram and WhatsApp. Facebook said in a court filing that the Federal Trade Commission had failed to provide a plausible factual basis for branding Facebook an unlawful monopolist. Yesterday's blackout of Facebook, WhatsApp and Instagram has resurrected the conversation of the risk of Facebook's monopoly. Lead for iSolve Ghana, Henry Kobler, says rather than split Facebook, emerging tech firms must be supported to make them competitive.
The people that will protect the citizenry, the people that will protect other businesses, other interests, financial interests, should be looking at also setting up some of these research and development sectors that could actually precede some of these technological advancements. I mean, in some of these techs, there are lots of predictions that come around it. And so we can always just do a lot of research to be able to know that these are what is coming up. I mean, for an example, like I mentioned, cryptocurrency is up and running. There are a lot of people that are just jumping on it. If you want to wait for crypto to be everywhere and say crypto is powerful against the banks, then you're really not doing us good. You rather have to make sure that you actually just understand the tech, understand what's going to come in, enact policies, put in, a lot of funding into getting competitor platforms coming up, and also just get along with it. I think that should be the way to go, rather than trying to push other people because they become powerful. Tech is the new thing, and so you can't necessarily say that because it's the new era for it and it's actually taking advantage of what it could, you're going to push down on them. I mean, that's business. Everybody enacts its business in the way they want.
The International Labour Organization in Ghana is engaging employers in the country on the need to adapt its project known as the Trade for Decent Jobs. The initiative aimed at improving working conditions and enhancing labour practices among organizations and enterprises is being introduced in Ghana with support from the United Nations. Officer in charge of the Trade for Decent Jobs, Ikuya Ofori Asimedu, told Joyce Business the practices are expected to be considered as part of working conditions for both employers and employees.
When they go back to their enterprises, they are going to allow more dialogue. They are going to use some of their corporate social responsibility to promote decent work at the enterprise and also within the community. If, for instance, you are a mining company and you are in a locality, I know enterprises have budgets which they use for corporate social things. This will help them to work with their direct employees as well as indirect employees, those who are vendors and suppliers to the company, and extend some of the good things that they do to also those people. And workers at that level, even within the media, even your enterprises, some are multinationals, and so on and so forth. So we'll expect that at the enterprise level, there will be some kind of social dialogue, which means you can talk freely to your colleagues, among your colleagues, with employers also. It will also mean that work-life balance will be looked at. You have a life as well as you are working for your enterprise. It will also translate in there's no child labor at that enterprise. Nobody will take underage people. It will also mean that if you need to progress in your career, it will be allowed by HR.
Meanwhile, economist and research officer at the Ghana Employers Association, Kingsley La, has disclosed the commitment of the employers to abide by the conventions to promote a healthy working relationship in the country.
As we are all aware, we know that there are a lot of multinational enterprises operating in Ghana. And their existence in here, they adopt a lot of international labor standards in their operations. But what is most important is that we make sure that their code of conduct or business is in line with the labor regulations that our country have. So areas that we look at collectively to ensure that there's decent work, creation, and also peaceful and industrial harmony at the workplace is what we are very much particularly interested in. So that is why we have collaborated with the ILO to ensure that our multinationals in the country are sensitized on some of the principles and guidelines that would help us to, achieve decent work creation and employment relations in the country.
That's it for business. Sports is up next.
Hello, my name is Evans Mensah, and you can relive all the fun and excitement on Top Story, Newsnight, and of course, Ghana Connect via podcast. All you need to do is to log on to myjoyonline/podcast. Search for your favorite show and relive the moment. Joy 99.7 FM, your radio for discerning listeners.
Welcome back to Sports on Joy News Prime. I'm Hans Mensah, and the Ridge City Football Club, they've won bronze in the 2020-2021 Greater Accra Regional Football Association Women's Division 1 League. They beat Ningo Ladies 3-2 at the Medina Astro Turf. The story of this 4-year-old club has been remarkable. My colleague Oreko Ampofo spent time with the club and has put together this special report.
But they have people who can keep the ball.
This is the Monday kickabout of a 4-year-old club, Ridge City FC Women. They're a very young team making huge strides in women's football here in Ghana. They recently finished third in the Division 1 League, beating Ningo Ladies by 3-2 in the playoff. Today, the job here is simple, and that's to find out what the secret has been for Ridge City FC Women and their quick rise to prominence in women's football. Founded in 2017, Ridge City FC Women have quickly risen in the ranks of women's football. A team that was set up just to allow women to play football for fun is now in the Division 1 League and were on the brink of being promoted to the Middle League. Ridge City eventually finished second in their zone behind Army Ladies, but CEO of the club, Cleopatra Insia Nketia, is just pleased that they have provided an avenue for women to express themselves.
Yeah, well, first of all, I love women's football. I love football. And then I also love women's football because obviously I'm a woman who plays football. And it's really much about giving women an opportunity to play football. And when I was younger, if I had this opportunity, I'm pretty sure I'd probably be playing football by now. I mean, the opportunities were there, but it wasn't like as it is now that we have it. And I just wanted to make sure that I wouldn't leave this earth without giving somebody else an opportunity. So hence the team. We are here, we're supporting women's football, we're encouraging women's football, we're helping women not just with the playing, with the management, with coaching, just anything that gets women into football, and also to encourage other people who are watching from the sides that, yeah, this is something that you can do if you also want to get into women's football.
Head coach of the side, Luis Ano Ampofo Jr., who used to be a sports journalist with the Multimedia Group, speaks of the transition from journalism to coaching and also points out some differences between women's football and men's football.
With journalism, we sit behind the cameras to talk about what they do on the field. Coaching, you're on the field. Now they talk about you. So it's been fantastic, quite amazing for me. And knowing very well now, I'm rather on the field, and then guys like you are talking about me and all that. So I think that's where the excitement comes in. Fortunately for me, I know some of the things that you're going to be saying about me and how to deal with it. So yeah, so far it's been a smooth transition, and I'm quite enjoying it. With the motivation factor, I believe it's quite tough over here with the girls, and you know, everything that happens, all the happiness in their lives and everything, trying to motivate them for games and all that. But I believe it's a challenge that I'm up to. It's quite incredible. Sometimes you just look at the things that women can do with the game, and then you compare it to what guys are doing, and then you see the how do you call it, the gap between, and then trying to close it, and it feels like a job that is quite enjoyable. Sometimes we talk about football being the beautiful game, and then who else to play to be more beautiful than people who are classed as beautiful human beings and not handsome human beings.
Humble Sarah Ayimedu has had the privilege of captaining Ridge City from its inception in 2017. She's been surprised by their success this season, but even believes they can challenge for promotion next season.
It's an amazing feeling. I can't really explain it because we never expected to get to that level. Yeah, looking at our how do I call it? The way we play, we are not really improved players yet. Yeah, so looking at the way we play and all that is very joyful that we made it to the top. Yeah, but we prepared fully towards it. All we had to do was to study the opponent during the first 10 minutes, see how they play, and then we also come into the game and then we make it. Well, the pressure towards next season is to be the winners, not the third position, but to win the cup itself, yeah, for the team. And we are praying that we make it to the Premier League. That's the aim, yeah.
A team that sits low in terms of age and experience, but when it comes to expectations, they shoot right throughout the sky. This is the story of Ridge City FC women and how they are climbing pretty quickly in the footballing hierarchy when it comes to women's football here in Ghana. They finished second in their zone in Division 1 and ended up placing third overall in Accra. This only leaves us wondering what this 4-year-old club could achieve in future. My name is Oreku Ampofo, reporting for Joy Sports from Joli.
Oreku Ampofo's special report on Ridge City Football Club and in sports here on Joy News Prime. My name is Hans Mensando. You can read more at myjoyonline.com/sports.
And that's it for Joy News Prime. Grateful you could join us. You find more stories when you log on to myjoyonline.com. I'm Ernest Mino. Up next is PM Express with Evans Mensah, and we're hosting private legal practitioner Akoto Mpel. You want to stay for that conversation?